Welcome to the Professor's Lab podcast, the show with a nerd, a clown, a duck, and a degenerate. Today, I wanted to talk about driving. Okay, like driving cars, honk honk, beep beep, vroom vroom, but I don't know. I think if I were to talk about how I've learned to drive, and I have my license, I've had my license for like a year, basically almost a year now, but if I'm going to talk about that, I got to talk about where I'm driving to. Okay, like I started working. I have a real job now, but it's only temporary. I'm only going to have it until like early August, so I can have a little bit more freedom before I finally start college. But yeah, so anyway, cars. I don't know where to start. I think the first time I sat in the front seat where the steering wheel was when, I don't know, maybe before first grade, so maybe I was like 4 or 5. Like, I just sat there for fun. I didn't drive the car or anything. My older brother, on the other hand, he apparently drove a car when he was 9 or something, or even like 3, I don't know. So I don't know how. I don't know where the frick he was. I don't know where he could have been to where that would be legal. But whatever. So yeah, that's where my story starts when it comes to driving. And there's not really much other things in terms of childhood that is interesting when it comes to driving, okay? But I don't know, like, I think my parents are good drivers. My dad is really into Formula 1 racing. So it's like the British version of NASCAR, okay? And so he likes to drive around like a race car driver when he's in his dream car that he bought some years ago. So yeah, we do own a sports car. It's not like super expensive. It was actually really cheap, but it's a nice car regardless. It's really fast. We mog like 99% of other cars on the road usually. But yeah. So I guess how far is my parents' influence going to take me? I don't know. I'm kind of being my own individual man when it comes to cars and driving because I'm not really a car person. I don't enjoy watching Formula 1 unless if there's Max Verstappen. Whenever I see Max, I just think of that, his theme song, because I saw it in some memes. But yeah, I don't know. So, when was the first time I actually drove? I do actually have video from when I was first driving. I think my dad recorded it on my phone, so I should have the video, but I gotta find it. But yeah, I was driving our old SUV and stuff in case if I crashed. It's like a SUV from 2003, so it's like older than me. They've had it for a very long time. Where the frick is it? There it is. Now I gotta figure out what folder it was in. But, yeah. So, pretty much, at our church, there's a giant parking lot. I mean, it's not like giant, but it's decently sized. And so, a lot of kids, including me, would take our parents' car, as long as the parents with us, and we would, practice our turns, drive around the parking lot, and get our experience in. Okay? Pretty simple. And so, I was no different, of course. That's exactly what I did. Okay? And so, I'm really good at turning. To this day, everyone's like baffled. Why are you so good at turning the car? Well, I just got more experience because that was like the main thing I practiced before I even got my permit in that church parking lot. Okay? So, yeah, I mean, that was kind of the majority of it. Just learning how to turn around corners, all that stuff. So, yeah. Eventually, it was time to get my permit, and instead of actually going to the DMV, I can just take an online quiz. What do you do at a stoplight? I don't know. You stop. Duh. Congratulations, you have a permit now. So there you go. Pretty simple. Like, I probably don't even need to be explaining all of this stuff that I've explained so far, because it's just so obvious. Like, duh, of course I had to do that. But we're gonna get into the good stuff soon, okay? We just need to explain the lore. How did we get here? So, when was that? That must have been my junior year when I got my permit. So, then for the rest of my junior year, from 2022 to 23, I've, I would drive to school with me mum in our other car and practice. Simple as that. Okay, yeah, here, we're finally getting to the good stuff. Okay, here's this one thing that happened this one time, okay? So we were trying to get out of our block and stuff, and so we're turning onto, like, a road, and now, of course, when you're going through a street, you have to look both ways. I looked in one direction. Wait, did somebody say One Direction? What's a One Direction song I could sing right now that I happen to remember? I don't know. You don't know you're beautiful. Oh my gosh, my neighbor's here. Oh my gosh, are you serious? I'm not gonna answer the door. Okay. Nope, I'm not answering it. I still haven't found the video. I'm looking for vlogs, yes. It should be in here. But yeah. So, I only looked in one direction. You don't know you're beautiful. And so I started turning. And you can probably guess what happened. I almost hit another car. I didn't actually hit it. It didn't hit me. But we came so close. The only reason why we didn't collide is because the person that we almost collided with noticed that and moved out of the way, you know? So, yeah, simple as that. I don't think the video is in here that I was trying to find. Maybe it was on my dad's phone and not mine. That's weird. Dang. Well, okay, so how did my mom react? So the thing is that she was telling me to stop when I was turning into the road when that car was literally like, it was like this close, okay? But I didn't stop, okay? Because I didn't know what was going on. Why do I have to stop, Mom? I don't know, and I don't care. I'm going to keep moving. I'll thug it out. It's no big deal, because I didn't realize how big of a deal it was. Why did I think that way? I don't know. And that's not the only time I've thought that way when driving. Someone tells me to stop because I'm moving into a road too soon or too late. And I just keep going. I don't know why I do that. Why don't I just listen to the actual expert next to me? Okay, I don't know. Why should I? You ever think of that? Exactly. So, yeah, I don't think I have the video. Yeah, I think it was actually on my dad's phone, so I don't have it. Maybe it's in my family folder, but why would it be in there? I don't know. So, yeah. Oh, no, I found it. Oh my gosh. I'm not doxing anyone, am I? I don't think so. Okay. There I am. You can see the... Daddy, why is your hand in the way? Are you stupid or something? Oh yeah, you can see the little stupid hair thing that I have under my lip. You can see my head hair poking out from under the hat. Daddy, why is your elbow in the way? But yeah, look at me. I'm like so swag. I must have been 15, right? Or was I actually 16? Let me look. There you go. That's the first time I drove. Finally, we got it on there. It doesn't say. Oh, August 13th, 2022. So yes, I was 15. That was like right before I turned 16. That was before my birthday. So, yeah, anyway. Enough of that. What the frig was I saying? Yeah, so my mom was screaming and stuff. She was like, oh my gosh, stop, 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 stop. And then she started screaming. I don't want to emulate it because, and I don't want to blow your eardrums out, but looking back at it, it's kind of funny because nothing bad happened. We didn't end up hitting the car because they acted sooner than me. But that is not the end of this story in particular, because I go to school. You know what I start hearing from one of my classmates? So I was I was going down this road, and there was like this car turning, and they didn't see me coming, and it almost hit me, and I had to maneuver, and I'm like, bruh, are you serious? I almost hit one of my classmates. I didn't talk to them about it. I was just sitting there at my desk, like, just distraught, like, man, what have I done? What have I done? I almost hit a midget, because she's, like, really short. So, the car I almost hit on that road, I'm very certain it's the same exact car that short chick drove, because I would see her park in the parking lot at school, and it's like the exact same car. So, like, it's definitely her I almost hit. Like, what a coincidence. I almost hit a classmate, and I didn't realize until hours later. So there you go. Now it's the end of that bit. So that is probably the closest I've gotten ever to, like, crashing. And spoiler alert, I haven't crashed. I still haven't crashed any cars. And I drive a lot. So I'm pretty goated. Okay? I'm very lucky. I'm like Donald Trump. I was going to record this podcast episode a day after Donald Trump almost got assassinated, but I didn't because I forgot. Because I'm so invested into the Donald Trump assassination thing going on right now. I'm just like, I just don't want to think about doing this podcast. So I'm doing it now. It's Wednesday. So we're going to do a double episode upload. We're going to record another episode on Sunday, most likely. So these uploads are going to be very close. So we have... Oh my gosh, wait, which episode is it? Is this episode 39? So that means there's one more episode of the season. What the frick? If this is 39, that's disappointing. Why am I wasting this on driving? Whatever. We'll talk about more than just driving. But I won't take up too much of your time, hopefully. But, yeah. So, dang. I don't remember many other shenanigans while driving and almost crashing. But I guess I'll skip ahead to when I do have my license. I was driving with my brother. And again, I was turning onto a road. Like, obviously, so we're going onto a road. There's 2 lanes. And one goes this direction, the other goes this. Okay? So, you know those roads. So I was driving on one of those. I turn into the lane. So, like, the lane that goes this direction, I turned on it, and I was going the opposite. Okay? I was, like, on the wrong lane. And so my brother's like, wait, stop! Despite there not being really any cars around. But he told me to stop anyway. And I'm like, no, what's going on? And so I keep going. Again, I don't stop. I don't listen to the passenger that's actually the expert driver. And so, once I'm actually on the road, and it's too late to turn back, he's like, gosh dang it. You're in the wrong lane. Next time I tell you to stop, you need to stop. My bad, OG. No, it's my bad, OG. I didn't realize this was the wrong lane. I'm just so stupid. Baka-nisa. Baka. Kiss me. Just kidding, he's my brother. Anyway, so how about getting my license? Yeah, let's talk about me getting my license. So I didn't get my license until like right before I turned 17. So I'm very late because I never really cared about driving. Again, I'm not a car person. I don't like driving, really. Like sometimes driving's only fun if I make it fun. Like when I'm driving alone and I'm listening to the radio, I'm listening to like 2010s music. It's fire. Other than that though, I'd rather just teleport, Like, if I remember, I'll get back to that. But anyway, so when I was doing my driver's test, my mom tried so hard to make sure that I did at least the bare minimum to get my license. And, oh boy, did I achieve the bare minimum. So, let me explain. I I took driving lessons, and I was much more experienced than the typical driving lessons, driver's ed kind of customer, okay? Because I was well into my 16th year of living. I was almost 17, and I'm taking these driving lessons once a week for 4, technically 5 weeks. And so the driver's ed people, I've had like 3 different people in the car with me throughout those 5 weeks, and yeah, those people, gosh dang it, I don't know if they realized that I was a teenager. I'll just say that, because they were kind of mean, you know? And I don't blame them. I was a horrible driver. Better than a lot of other people, I imagine, but still, like, the amount of experience that I had, I should have been much better. Okay? Yeah, they were kind of mean and stuff. So the first guy, I think I talked about him on a older episode back in like season 1 of the podcast. And so the first day, he was fire, no issues. I loved it. Then the second week I had him, all of a sudden, he's like super tired, he looks hungover, and I'm like practicing my parking job in like a school parking lot, and he starts falling asleep. Like, he actually is like, you know? It's like my dad, it's like he has sleep apnea or something. And I'm like, dang, this is kind of dangerous. Like, he needs to be watching, like, what I'm doing and stuff so we don't crash. But he's, like, sleeping right now in the car next to me. And he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't get much sleep last night. You know? It's so annoying and disappointing. So I told my mom about it, and I'm like, dang, should I get a different teacher? And she's like, well, if you want to. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but like, if you want to. So I'm like, yeah, let's get a different teacher. I don't think we should get this guy. So the next guy, he starts interrogating me. He's like, okay, did that guy teach you this, this, and this? And I'm like, no, he didn't teach me any of that. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I'll write him up for that. And I'm like, what? No, did I just snitch on my previous driver's ed instructor? What is wrong with me? Snitches get stitches. Man. If I knew I was gonna be a snitch, all my mama and my sis had to cut my own blood off, must have forgot I was a Crip, okay? So yeah, the next guy, I guess he was, I don't know, I want to say he's better because he actually taught me everything I needed to know, in reality, for those 2 weeks I had him, and, I don't know, was he, I'd say he was slightly more mean, but not to the point where he was like an insufferable mudahecka. The first guy, he was really nice, but he was like he was definitely an alcoholic. And the second guy, he looks like the voice actor for John Marston. I don't know who the frick his name is. I have a photo with John Marston as well. Hold on. Oh no, it's actually in the family folder. John Marston. Gosh dang it, John. Alright. There I am. I also talked about this in a previous episode. Why are my eyes so red? Look at me. Like, I don't want to be with this guy. Where the frick is Jack? Come on, Abigail, we gotta get Jack. Gosh dang it. Anyway. What was I saying? Yeah, John Marston. Okay, yeah, whatever. So he taught me more stuff. The third guy on the 5th week, I'll tell you right now, I had no idea that I was supposed to actually do my driver's test. I thought it was just a new lesson. And so we get in the car, and I'm like, all right, let's get this show on the road. And I want to say real quick, this last guy, he reminded me of this one streamer I used to watch that I met in a duos fill match in Fortnite like a long time ago. Maybe like 2021 or 2020, I don't remember. His name was Loud Ludo. And, like, obviously nobody knows who that is. He's like a small streamer, and he quit a long time ago. But I see him come out of the car when he's like picking me up at my house, and I'm like, is that Loud Ludo? bruh. And we start talking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he looks like Loud Ludo. He sounds like Loud Ludo. Is my driving instructor a streamer I used to watch when I was 14? Whatever. Okay, so I had no idea it was actually my test. I thought it was another lesson. We start driving, and I'm trying to make small talk. Okay, I hate small talk. I usually let the other person start talking, but he's not talking. So I'm like, you see, usually I drive trucks. I'm a truck person. I don't like these tiny cars. They're so low to the ground, it makes me uncomfortable. And he's like, yep, that sounds about right. And then we just silence again. And I was so confused. In hindsight, obviously, it was my test. So that's why he wasn't talking to me. He didn't want to distract me. So, like, yeah. I didn't get the hint until maybe, like, halfway through this, like, session of driving. Because, yeah, whatever. So, throughout this session of driving, I'm making all of these mistakes. You know me. I'm a sucky driver, despite me having 100,000 million hours in driving already. What's the game called? Forza Horizon? Yeah, if I played Forza Horizon and that was like my driving experience, it would be like 100 hours. Maybe. Probably not. Okay, definitely not 100 hours. Let's say like 20 hours. 20 hours of playtime. That would be my driving experience. And so, I'm like, so I make a left turn. I turn into the wrong lane on this road. And he's like, oh, you turned into the wrong lane. Switch. And I'm like, oh, sorry, bro. And so he's like, that's strike one. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Whatever. I was so unself-aware. And that's okay. So the final straw was when I was like at this point on like this road, and I had to turn onto another road. And like there's this road in between, and so it's like there's like a curb, and you gotta wait for these cars that are coming in this single lane, so then you can turn into the other road and stuff. Why is my nose so itchy? So like, and there's like a light, a red light, a green light that tells you if you can go or not. But so typically when you make a right turn in like an intersection, you can go as long as it's clear, even if the light's red. And so I applied that logic into this. I'm gonna turn left, and I know the light's red, but there's no cars in the way currently, so I'm just gonna go. And so I started moving, and obviously this is like a driver's ed car, and so he like slams the brake on the other side of the car because there's two brakes, and I don't know if there's a second steering wheel, but there are two brakes, so he could like do it so we don't do something stupid. So yeah, he slams the brakes, and he's like, "What the frick are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, what did I do? You're turning left on a red light? Are you stupid or something?" And I'm like, "But it's clear. It don't matter. The light's red. You have to wait, my boy. Hey, what's the matter with you? You want to just start over? Is that what you want to do right now? Because you have failed." And I'm like, bruh, was I being tested? Is that what this is? This entire time? I don't know how to feel right now. I feel betrayed. Nobody told me that I was being tested. We get in the car, we start driving. I thought I was driving around so you can see how I was doing. And then not next week, but like after the practice, we do the actual test. But no. That was the test the entire time. And so he's like, yeah, do you want to just start over? Alright, just so we can get some productivity out of this. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Why not? I didn't sound sad or mad or anything. I was like, oh yeah, sure. Why not? Just, you gotta mask the pain, okay? That's how it is in the adult world. You can't show true emotion. So yeah, we start over. We turn and stuff wherever the frick we needed to go, and we go all the way to where we started and stuff. Oh, I need to refill this, gosh dang it. And then yeah, we start over. And that was that. So we do it all over again. I knew all of my mistakes, basically. He explained them to me. You're turning on the wrong lane every single time. You're going way too fast. You're going 5 over every single time. And yeah. The thing is that I was driving exactly the way my mom has taught me, plus the driving instructors. And so there's like conflicting information here. My mom says, oh, you can go the speed limit if you want, but you can actually go 5 over and the cops don't care. Or 5 under. But typically 5 over. If you go any slower, you will get honked at. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I do exactly that on my driver's test. And I get poopy for it. It's not illegal. Why do I have to obey the law? They're not even going to care anyway. And I will tell you, to this day, I always go 5 over. Okay? Because cops don't care. That's just what people do here. Okay? At least here. I don't know about everywhere else, but I haven't gotten pulled over. Okay? But yeah. So we start over. And I have to drive perfectly. I can't go by my mom's rules. I have to go specifically by this guy's rules because he said so. So, yeah. I drive like a grandma, and he's like, don't worry about the other cars around you. Go the speed limit. If you go any faster, we're going to crash, and you are going to kill us all. Okay, I'm gonna go the speed limit. Calm down. So, we finish. We park at the community college. And he's like, alright, I'm gonna add up your total, whatever the frick. There, you passed. Can you sign here and here and here? Alright, sure. Alright, here's your license, little boy. Boop. Thank you very much, sir. I'm going to put this in my wallet. I don't know if he actually gave me my license, actually. He gave me a paper. A paper that solidified my driving experience. So yeah. Here's your paper, little boy. Thank you very much, sir. As soon as he handed me that paper, he breaks character and he's like, dude, I nearly lost it when you turned left on that red light. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you know how it is. And yeah, we're just laughing about it. And it was all good. He was only mean because that was his job. Sometimes you can't make assumptions about people. You need to get to know them behind the scenes before you make these assumptions. So, there you go. It all worked out in the end. I passed anyway, and it didn't matter. I'm gonna go 5 over the speed limit every single time. Frick you, loud Ludo clone. Okay. I mean, that's basically the climax of this story. There was a driving mistake I made like a month ago. A little more than a month ago, but basically a month ago. It was in June. I was driving home from the city, okay? And it's like a half-hour drive. It's like the furthest I've driven by myself. Big ups, fella. And so it was like in the evening, it was like 7 p.m., something like that. And I'm driving home, and so there's like this road next to this industrial site, and there's one red light. Go a little bit further, and then there's another red light. So I see those red lights, obviously. So the thing is, I see both of them at first, and then like I get distracted. I'm like looking around. Oh, look at those birds, and then I look back. And so, instead of looking at the red light in front of me, I look at the red light that's way further down. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop at that red light. As perceived beforehand, we're all good. Next thing I know... Actually, wait, let's back up. So, I was looking at my GPS, and I'm like, oh, does it want me to turn there? Or does it want me to turn right here? And so, I was like switching from the middle lane to the right lane so I can go into this like turn lane and stuff. But I realized, oh wait, I'm not supposed to turn there. So I stayed in the right lane. And stuff. And so, like, obviously, there's the rule. You can turn right onto a road as long as it's clear, even if the light's red. And so that's what I was doing. I was going a little bit slower than full speed, but basically full speed. I was planning on going into that turn lane. And so I was going to ignore the red light in front of me and stuff. So the red light further away is totally irrelevant. I guess. So yeah, I kept going straight. All of the cars were stopping as they should. Me, who did not turn into the turn lane, was still on the right lane and was going. I was going full speed. Next thing I know, I completely passed the red light. No chance to stop, because if I stopped, I would be in the middle of the road. And so then, like right as I'm passing that red light in front of us, it just goes over my head. I'm looking up, I see it, and next thing I know, I'm like continuing on the road. I'm completely alone. All the cars that were around me are now behind me back at the red light, and I'm like, so I have one hand on the steering wheel, and the other hand I'm going. And I hold that facial expression for like maybe 10 seconds. I stop at the next red light. I'm just alone at this light with everyone else at the other light way back there, probably looking at me like, look at this retard. He didn't stop at the red light like he was supposed to. What is he, trying to get killed or something? So, yeah. So with that being said, obviously, I did not get killed. Nothing happened. But it's probably the second closest time I got to dying while driving, simply because I absolutely passed that red light because of the circumstance. Obviously, it's my fault. I'm not going to put the blame on anything but me. It is absolutely my fault. I passed this red line. Totally could have died if there was like a semi-truck going through. But luckily, there were no cars. It was like middle of the evening. Dare I say late evening. There's still sunlight out. Just a little, though. And so I was so lucky. Like, I don't know what the frick it is. My whole family have a track record of crashing their entire lives. It's spread out, obviously. Like, it's not like my mom has like a dozen crashed cars under her belt or anything. That's not what I'm saying. But like, every single one of my family members have crashed the car or gotten in a wreck in some way. Me, I'm completely immune. No matter how many mistakes I make, I come out on top every single time. Why? Because God did. They ain't believing us, but I know God did. God did. God did. You know? It's always been God. Every single time. Or an angel, whatever the frick. Angel is protecting me. The Holy Spirit. Hang on, let me get something. I got two things. Here is the famous painting of Christ the Lord with his heart and stuff. This is a signature of Jesus himself that I got. Okay? That is a real life signature of Jesus. And I have it framed because I never want to forget the day I met Jesus himself. So, and this is something drawn by my seminary teacher's daughter or something. At least I think it was her daughter. Maybe it was her granddaughter. I don't remember. But it says, I am a disciple of Jesus Christ. Okay? From 3rd Nephi 5:13. I am on the scene. Behold, I am a disciple of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. And I forgot the rest of it. I have been called of him to declare his word among his people, that they may have everlasting life. And then I forgot the rest of it. Anyway, so if I die, it's because God has plans for me. And I am no longer needed here on Earth. And if I stop uploading, it's because I died. Like, I cannot go more than, 3 or 4 months without making a video. Or, no, I went 5 months one time without uploading, but I can't go more than 5 months without uploading a YouTube video. It's just impossible. So, if I stop uploading, it's because I got in a car crash and died. Or I got disabled. So, yeah, it'll happen someday. When I die, it's because of cars. I'm not going to make it past 50 because I'll just die in a car crash. That's what's going to happen to me. But, yeah. Driving is the most dangerous thing I do these days. That's pretty crazy to say. I go to theme parks. I go to fairs. Okay? I stand in the middle of the desert with the boys where there's rattlesnakes, coyotes, javelina, kit foxes, scorpions, spiders, all of that stuff. Driving is simply much more dangerous, even if I'm going around the neighborhood. I'm much more likely to get killed somehow or injured driving around the neighborhood than standing in the middle of the desert where there's dangerous animals that all want to kill you. So, yeah. That's... yeah. The one redeemable skill I have when it comes to driving is literally just turning corners. But, yeah. But I can drive to school fine. I can drive to church. I can drive to my job that I'm not going to say where I'm working, obviously, but, it's retail. I'll say that. It's retail. It's pretty good for a first job. It's really, I would say fun, but fun is a bit of a stretch. It's just, I feel like I'd say it's fulfilling. It's a fulfilling job. I can't explain it because it's retail. Whatever, I like it. I like the job. I think it's a great first job. Maybe over Christmas break between semesters when I'm in college, I'll come back and work a little more because I'm only working part-time. But yeah, I'm proud of myself. Anyway, yeah. So with that being said, yeah, I'm becoming an adult. This is kind of one of the last things I wanted to talk about before I end this season, because there will most likely be a season 3 of the podcast. I have more things I want to talk about, but I want to talk about them under better circumstances. What do I mean by that? I don't know. I'm not sure. It just doesn't feel right. I want to wait a little longer. And on top of that, I want to write scripts. I want to actually note down exactly what I want to say about these things, because I feel like it's warranted, because it's things that can't simply be explained properly among my noggin without writing it down. I can't just freestyle it, okay? I'll give myself 5 more minutes and then I'll end the podcast, but dang. Yeah, so I'm going to go to college for 4 years. I don't know how much freedom I'm going to have. The first 2 years are going to be the most relaxing. After that, it's going to be unapologetic. I'll most likely still find joy, but university, it's going to be a big step up from community college, okay? If I make it that far, maybe I'll end community college and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. But I hope I don't decide that, because community college is completely different from a university in a way, okay? It's completely different in a way. So If I find community college to be super boring, let's just thug it out until I get to the university, because the university is probably going to be much better. Because the university we have in this city that I want to go to, it's actually really good. Like, it's way too big, but I kind of like that. I don't know what it is. Like, I was roaming around there for my summer camp recently because, it's partnered with the people that run the summer camp, so they let us roam the college and stuff. I like the vibe. Okay, it's a bunch of liberal university aesthetic students, staff, but I don't care. You know what? It could be worse. I could be going to college in California. Is that what you want me to go to? I will be murdered once they realize that they're taking classes with Professor Teagues. Okay? I mean, before that happens, I'll probably private all my videos before that, so maybe it doesn't matter. Let me drink water real quick. My throat is starting to hurt. I gotta end this soon. Okay, closing remarks. I don't know. I have quite a few friends that are poor, and their parents don't want to bother teaching them to drive. They're like, okay, you don't feel like driving? That's fine. Stay in your room for the whole summer. Do frick all. You don't need to get a job. You don't need to learn how to drive. You don't need to know how to be an adult. You think I give a frick? You're gonna live here until you're like 40. Because once you're 40, you'll overdose on fent. You think I give a frick? You think I wanted kids? Frick you. They have those kinds of parents. And so, I'm always telling them, like, you can literally learn to drive at any time. Just ask your parents, can you take me to the church parking lot over the weekend? And just, let's do some laps around. Okay, let's get your permit at least, please. Because they're my age. Some of them, maybe younger. But I'm mainly focused on Owen, the co-host of this podcast, and also Alex, who has been on this podcast a couple times. Technically. Doesn't really say much, obviously. He's the quiet one, but man, I'm genuinely worried for them, and I'm so like schizophrenically worried about their future. I'm like obsessing over it. I'm worried about their future more than I'm worried about my own future. That's what it's gotten to. And so, yeah. I think they know that at this point. I think they realize how hyper-fixated I am on their lifestyle. Mostly Owen's, because Owen, man, he wants to get married and have kids with like a hot Asian, but he's not gonna get there if he keeps acting like a man-child. Truth hurts, doesn't it? But yeah, like, I'm working on my own life. I need to teach him to work on his, because I'm not going to be around him forever. But yeah, anyway, he needs to learn to drive. Because once he's going to trade school, like, is his mom just going to drive him every single day? Like he's 12? Like, come on. And it's not just them. I can't think of any other people at the top of my head that are, neglecting the process of getting their permit or license, but it's just sad. I don't know what to do with them. It's such an important skill to have as soon as possible to learn to drive. Because once you're an adult and you don't have your license yet, it's like, bruh. Like, when you're in like a big city or you're in the Midwest or something, it appears to be normal to not have your license. Like, my brother's fiance and her family, like, so many of them don't have their license. The mom is like well into her, I think she's in her 40s now, and she doesn't have her license. Or maybe she like just got it recently. And then my brother's fiance that moved here with us, she was on the podcast, I think the last episode actually, or the episode before this, but she got her license a couple years ago. Obviously before me, but like still. She was like pushing 20 and she like just got her license. Like, what's going on? Yeah. So, yeah. I guess that's everything I have to say. Yeah, once you see an opportunity, learn to drive as soon as possible. You can make excuses, but please consider it, because you don't want to be that guy that just graduated high school and does not even have their at the very least have your permit. Please get that experience, because you're going to be in the adult world. It's going to come fast. Maybe it won't come fast for you because you're immature, but yeah. And that goes for literally everything else when it comes to the adult world. Get a job, get a bank account, get a debit card, credit card, whatever the frick your parents will let you have. And better yet, do everything in your power to have independence, okay? If there's something you can do that doesn't involve your parents, just do it, okay? Yeah, it's a process. It'll be scary at first, but you gotta get there eventually. And my famous quote from 2023, I want to put that out there again because I haven't said it on camera in a very long time. Nothing's going to change unless you do something about it. If your parents aren't going to advocate for you, then you need to advocate for yourself. So there you go. Sub to the main channel, follow the Rumble, Instagram, X, TikTok, and join the Discord server. Follow all the social media. Bye-bye. Remember, everyone, it's all just for funsies. One more episode of the podcast and the season is going to end. We will be back in 2025.